sunny and clear, and I'm like no.
Well, with that, I think we'll just do the countdown while everybody's watching the commercials, because there's the commercials right now.
Yep.
Or we can wait for a minute and then we do the commercials. Or we just hang out and we just talk through the commercials. What?
I need to get on your thing.
You need to get in on what?
On your stream. Sorry, on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. All right, here we'll do the countdown. Here we go. And welcome in to the Esports EDU chat. It is Thursday night. It is a very California-centric cast tonight that we have. We actually, when planning out this episode, and the great planning that we did today to get this episode together, where I said, let's just have everybody come in. We've had a bunch of people on. Let's just say, hey, I pictured it kind of like how should we say, like a Johnny Carson, like a late night show. Some actors in the area and just walks on set, So who knows? Maybe Sam Anton will walk onto set and then just leave.
It's our open house edition.
This is
like
virtual open house.
We've got like biscuits on the counter.
This isn't England.
I know. I realized I just said that. I'm like, biscuits. That's not the right. Okay, we've got cookies on the counter.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
and we've got cookies on the counter. We've got start of a new school year. Again, it feels like, I don't know, the school year's been starting for 2 months for me, but we're into our full week after Labor Day when we traditionally would start. And it's getting better for me. How's everybody else doing?
It's all right.
Yeah, I feel as a parent, I feel like this is probably the easiest week. We're a month in now, and I feel like my son's starting to get used to the different electronic platforms. Definitely noticed that the school sort of assumes that everybody's been in the system and nobody's coming in not thoroughly understanding how to use the different electronic platforms, which has been a huge hiccup for us because we haven't had experience with any of them coming from outside of the district. So we finally gotten to the point where I feel like we're not having any catastrophes anymore. Nothing's, it's getting better here.
But the whole state is burning.
Yeah.
I mean, we're toasty.
I had friends from San Francisco sending me pictures yesterday, and I swore that they were edited. And they're like, no. This is real.
My parents, I was texting them yesterday morning at like 10:30, and they were sending me pictures from inside the house. They'd turned the lights off. It was completely black inside, just red light coming in through the windows. All the street lamps, which are solar powered, were all still on up and down the road. It was crazy. And then it got darker. It just got darker over the course of the day. So yeah, it's
definitely like very apocalyptic out here these days. Like
zombie apocalypse.
It does not look real. Like today and yesterday have just been like straight smoke and gray, at least in San Diego. But like a few days ago, when the sun went down, just like you were saying, like everything, like my house was lighting up orange, and I was like, what is going on? It's just so crazy.
Yeah, it's weird.
Sam,
I've had my office lights on like all day.
Well, I you guys, for me, you notice I'm wearing a flannel shirt today. I decided to break out the flannel. The top button is buttoned.
Yeah.
It is 60 degrees. Winter or fall, excuse me, hit right day after Labor Day here.
I mean, but like coastal California, we could hypothetically be in shorts and tank tops on Christmas. Like,
oh yeah, done it before. Well, never a tank top. Not me. No. But but I've seen it. But I've been in an 80 degree. I went on vacation once where I left and it was 80 degrees. I think it was the day before Christmas around here. So yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just, your weather sounds more like Carrie. I think you said the other day your house was 95 degrees inside.
Yeah, we actually got up to 97 on Saturday.
Oh.
We were 107 here, and it was 97 in the house. But it's it's old construction. It's single pane windows, and there's just glass everywhere. So yeah, it was warm.
My house got to 91. That was the hottest. I don't have air conditioning. The same thing. My house was built in like 1930, and it was just like miserable. And then my power went out all day Tuesday. So.
Yeah.
I live on the borderline of the Bouge over here, so like we get Back Bay, Newport Back Bay, like nice and cool weather, so it's super nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Super
so
lucky.
You get it where it cools off. We have we'll get the wind, and you're excited because there's a breeze, but then it's all coming in from like the Santa Ynez Valley, so it's coming in and it's 10 degrees hotter than it was all day. So it's like turning on a blow dryer to hot and just standing in front of it. You're like, this isn't great. This is not great.
Yeah. And here I am, I live in Wisconsin now. And these people are talking about these things, but I'll be complaining about winter soon enough. Do not worry. Yeah. Even though we just change it up. We change up how we dress and we just drink cocktails. So that's not so bad. But tonight we could have gone with a heavy topic, and at least what we were kicking around. And it is one of those days where I was like, can we not have a heavy topic today, please? So tonight, what we're going to discuss, and this is going to be something that's really good, I think, for the chat as well, is we're going to talk about the things that you wish you could change in Scholastic Esports right now, and then what is one thing that you really love about Scholastic Esports. And again, those of us who are in our Discord, if you want to just pop in, you can share your idea, because I know I see some of you already in the chat. But we open it up. Let's start with Jarrell. Jarrell, let's. You're here. You're in my vision right now. What if there was one thing you wish you could change right now about Scholastic Esports? It doesn't have to be pros or any of that stuff, but like just one thing that we wish we could really just make a great change in. What would it be?
Big question. I think part of it is just that relationship between the industry and education right now. I feel like there's just such a huge disconnect, and we have such an opportunity to build this like pipeline and partnership, but I feel like it's at odds, and that makes it really difficult for us as educators. I think that's just the biggest thing for me right now.
Yeah, we've seen it specifically. I know. Well, I wrote the letter to Riot, the open letter to Riot. And that there still feels like there is that disconnect between developers and schools. I really, my dream right now, if there was a developer I could get and say like, hey, we really want to work with you, it's the people who made the game Fall Guys.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
Which,
same.
How universally awesome would that game be across kindergarten to high school?
Fun.
And that might actually be an avenue. I don't think they are so big to the point where you couldn't access them.
I tweeted them. They didn't respond to me, so it's fine.
Well, Sam Anton says she has many thoughts on Fall Guys.
Are they good thoughts?
I don't know.
Thoughts?
I hope so.
She could be on the chat. She could be in this chat right now.
Get in here, Sam.
Peer pressure.
We need the thoughts.
But that to me that's one of those developers where I look at and go, the stuff that Fortnite is trying to, I'll call it shoehorning, though. I mean it in a very gross term, just because Fortnite wasn't designed to be something that would be necessarily modular, build your own. And we're trying to do something educational with it, which is great. But I look at Fall Guys, and I see like the opportunity to have a sandbox where you could develop your different game boards for the different obstacle courses for them to go through, the different game challenges that you want to set up, those kind of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential there for sure.
As long as you can get a server. I would want my own protected server.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's a key thing with most, educational games is the ability to do that.
Yes. That's
which I think for me, like my thing is I would love to see games specifically designed for esports in the K-12 system. And if that could be effectively done by existing game studios, I think that would be awesome. But I also am a little hesitant with that. I feel like there's a disconnect between wanting to make a lot of money off of a game and pitch it for general public consumption, and then what we kind of need as educators, and the kind of control that would be great to have to be able to take a title and then use it for maybe game design and level design, as well as actual esports competitions. That I'm almost I think would be great if we had something that was a true partnership between some good esports educators and some developers to kind of create titles that were specifically designed with the esports EDU like in mind. I would love that. I think it would be great. It's
a very constructionist idea in that sense. When Gary Steger and Seymour Papert were writing about computers in the schools, it was never the computers were there to give you the internet. No, the computers were there for the students to actually use and program. Right. Programming being a very key component of that. What you're talking about too is we're taking games right now and we're using games as they are intended to be used by the developer. What I'm hearing you say though is let's take games and let's turn them into something that can be used and built around by the student in their own sense, in their own way.
Yeah, I mean, I think because you look at, when you look at the esports environment, and we've all seen the beautiful diagrams that exist out there. There's so much to it. So if you just have a title that you don't own, that you have a license to, that could be revoked at any point in time, that can only be played like one way, it's limiting. And granted, there are some titles that have like a creative mode, so you can do some basic level or challenge design in it. It's still limiting. But if you have a game that's specifically structured by educators, sort of for educators, you can set up potential leagues, so you can have a set type of gameplay. But, it can be modded out, it can be redesigned, something that's built so that you can hand it to teachers and they could really dismantle it and use it in a lot of different ways. So, when you look at that big game environment, that one game could be used to touch various aspects of that. And I think that could be really cool. For I think both students and educators. Will we ever see it? I don't know. I would love to see it.
There's 4 people here who can figure out. Maybe we're going to design the next game.
Well, I think about Minecraft specifically, right? Like Minecraft initially started as a game, and then it's interesting because Minecraft EDU, before Microsoft bought them out, was a separate developer. I think the main guy was Santeri Cordisto. I had a chance to meet him, and he was talking about his whole premise. But the fact that he was able to mod the game and create the tools that were centered around educators and students, I think was super helpful. I was a big proponent of utilizing Minecraft EDU before, and I think tools like that make those games more engaging, and then obviously they can dissect it and, like you said, Carrie, really mod it and really explore. I think Minecraft has been like that from the very get-go, but I think there's opportunities with things like Fortnite and all of that to open that up to students to play and learn.
Well, and Sam raises a couple of good points in here. Like I said, she could just do this on the show. I like to admire y'all. I wouldn't recommend teachers push their students to purchase Fall Guys knowing it's $20. That's true.
That's my thing too. I was like, can I get a couple copies for free? No response.
And the hacker situation, which I have been a part of, right now is really awful. With Minecraft, you have infinite map abilities and probably better maps. True. But here's what I will say about the hacker situation. The rules are, if you catch a hacker in your server, everybody's supposed to team up on the hacker. Even if it hurts, if you're on a team game, you're supposed to just turn on the hacker. So, but anyway, Those are two good points about that game. And then there's some counting thing that's going
Why
on.
is the chat counting?
I know.
I've been
I
staring
don't
at it. I'm
know.
like,
And
why
now
is
it seems like it's turned into an auction. It's
Now
going
I'm
twice.
Yes.
So it's your last opportunity to go higher.
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't know what's happening here.
I
But
don't
whatever. It's
We've
cool.
lost control of chat.
Yes. All right. So we've talked about the thing we wish we could change is the developer. Carrie, what about you?
No. That was mine. Seeing like.
Oh,
Yeah. It was very similar. It piggybacked really well off of Jarrell's is being able to have, wishing that we had a set of esport titles that were designed specifically with the education system in mind, so that we could have opportunities for that K-12 environment that were safe, designed to be used in multiple different facets to fit into the environment, that were potentially more. There's like drilling happening outside right now. I don't know.
we can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
No.
Oh my goodness, it's loud. Okay. And then we've got issues where you hear about developers going in for exclusive contracts with particular leagues or organizations. It'd be nice to know that we've got a set of titles where that isn't there, that you've got something that's really designed not necessarily for financial gain, but really for the spirit of esport education.
All right, Angelique, what about you?
I mean, mine's really like similar too. Like I as I'm sure all of you know, I'm like trying to chase down a Fortnite creator code so I can host these games with my students. And I'm like, man, like I don't even want the money. Like I don't want to make money off of it. I just want that code so I can host games for my school and my kids can tune into my stream and all play together. And I'm like,
what kills me is that's so easy.
yeah.
Like that was my issue with Sea of Thieves. Like it was a game that had a lot of potential to be used for, different situations within a school setting, but there weren't private servers. Well, like now there's private, but it's only like partner accessible. So if you're not a partner, you can't have access to it. Where like it would be really great if games built in, or if developers built in, that sort of educational component. So if you're an educator, here's my CTA card or whatever. Yeah. Now I've got access to private servers. Therefore, you can run a safe, like you said, a safe environment for your kids.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, I'm running my club not by myself, but like I'm running my club through distance learning virtually right now. And had we been together, I have all of our consoles and all of these things available. So there's, 10 plus things going on in my club. So I can easily have 60 kids who are, have time playing whatever game they want to play. But right now, that's much harder. All my kids only have access to so many things, and not all my kids have the same games. And so we're trying to navigate that in my club. And I'm like, Fortnite is so easily accessible. And I know we've talked about this a lot, but like if I could just get a creator code and I can host at least 100 kids could come, have a place to play. And we did, me and JD Williams, we hosted one last week. And because he has a creator code, and he's so nice that he like lets me invite my students, even though he has elementary schoolers and I have high schoolers. So like that's a big one. But I had 100 kids. 100 kids showed up and tuned into my stream. And I have so many kids emailing me and they're like, Miss Giannis, that was so fun. When are we going to do that again? And like my school is excited about it, because what other club could you host 100 kids that easily in a virtual environment? And I'm like, come on, Epic. Like, just come on.
Right.
It's a little click. I bet you could click and just send me your little code. I don't want any money.
As pointed out in chat, the subject of access, largest barriers for our community is simply access. Mine, I'll take a little different approach. I know the biggest thing that I really want to change in our industry, that I feel even some of us, I don't know, I'll say the good guys or on the good side of things, is starting to falter on. And that's, we got to be intellectually honest. I need to see a lot more intellectual honesty from people in the industry on both sides. Educators who have actually done the work, and developers and organizations who actually are honest with people and what they say and what they do. The last thing I need to know is candy coated. I need to know what works and what doesn't. Mm-hmm. And I would love to again make sure that we have intellectual honesty, because I see the potential for this to be blown up with, there's already talk of a bubble, an esports bubble in a lot of ways, as things are getting more back to normal. So we have to be very protective of this space that we're in right now, and really separate, especially if there's more and more scandal, it seems, with the pro scene. We have to separate ourselves from that. So we need to be intellectually honest with people about what it is that we're doing. Even if it doesn't always make us look great, we still, the work that we do, people like the work that we are doing by and large.
Well, and there's things to be learned from failure. Mm-hmm. So if you've tried something and it didn't go the way you planned, or you failed, that's important to know. When people come to me and they're super excited about starting a program, like I sit down and go, okay, that's great. You're super excited about starting a program. How does your area feel about gaming? And half the time people don't know. And I'm like, well, you could be in a situation like me where you've got the education, you've got the background, you've got the credential, you've got everything you need, but you live in a community that really doesn't want to invest in gaming. In fact, has a very negative relationship with it. And then you're years away from getting your program up and running, because what you have to do is build just a general foundation within the community before you can even start the work of building your program. Yeah. And so for me, it's like, I had this program that I ran. We inched by, it was a fight the whole time. And I wish people had been, upfront and honest beforehand, but you get a lot of, it's going to be great, it's going to be a success. And it's like, okay, I learned a lot. I'm happy to share that. But, being able to be open with your failings, because there's a lot to be learned there. I also think the issue that I run into with that one right now is a lot of people are being very politically correct at the moment, publicly. But then when you get into, actually seeing what organizations are doing, it doesn't match what's public facing. And I think we need to stop that. We need to stop that and instead be honest. Like, if your company has an issue with racism or diversity, be open about it and say that. Our company has an issue with diversity and we're working on it. But I think so many companies right now are trying to save face and are publicly touting something that's not being matched up by their actions. And, a lot of us that look deep enough see it, and it's frustrating.
I'll call one company out, Sept. They were the ones who got a big New York Times article and talked about, hey, we're promoting diversity and all this stuff. And they've hired a lot of talent, or they've partnered with a lot of talent across race and across gender. But what I see when I go in their Discord is not reflective of that. The community that they have built, in as secret as they want to make, doesn't reflect the community that they're putting out publicly.
Yeah.
I look in their Discord, there's not a channel about social justice. There's not a channel that's for, there's channels for their swag and for the games. That's it. And when I put in when they had their server open, and I'm still a part of it, and I put in the recommendations and I put, we need a channel for social justice, it actually gets voted down.
Dang.
So yeah, which tells you what the culture is like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
not good.
But we focused on the things. We're almost to the halfway point of the show. Should we do an intermission? No, just kidding. I'm not going to run any advertisements.
Is anybody going to come in and offer me an ice cream? Because if I'm going to get an ice cream out of the intermission, I'm all for it.
We could do one karaoke song, but
Okay, so as everybody knows, I've been teasing this idea to us. I don't know, have a kind of a karaoke night or something where Jarrell and I are going to do a secret show and just do all this karaoke. I have it almost all set up. I just have to work the sound through, and we are good. So
I got to see that song list, man. I gotta
He's
get
got to
ready.
start practicing.
I've got every song that you could ever want between the years 1950 and 2010.
This is gonna be good.
Ooh.
So nothing in the last 10 years legally that I own, but I own pretty much everything else.
That's
So,
impressive.
Yeah, that is.
Well, life of a karaoke DJ, which, by the way, is not as glamorous as it may sound.
Yeah.
Just Dance 1950.
Look, there is nothing I love more than it's 1:30 in the morning. You're really tired. It's been a dead night. Somebody walks up and says, "Hey, I would love to sing Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd."
Oh my.
It's not exactly a song that you sing at 1:30 in the morning. And that's where I go and look and go, nope, it's deleted. I don't know what happened.
I don't know.
I don't have that one.
Yeah.
Weird.
So, Kevin is in chat saying, "Don't Talk to Strangers" by Rick Springfield. No, I'm not going to sing that. But maybe Jarrell will. So let's talk about then, and please, if we missed something in the chat, the chat can also participate in this as far as things that we would like to see change. But we're kind of shifting now to, what do we love? What's the one thing that we really love about Scholastic Esports? And you can only say one, even though you may have a million.
Sorry, just trying to read Sam's.
I am reading Sam's.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's all read Sam's.
I like Sam's comment, what you just said.
Something
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Oh,
sorry, Google.
we have another guest on the show tonight.
No. I don't want anywhere near. Wait, okay. Something I don't like. The deification of influence.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's deep.
That's deep.
That is deep.
That's true.
And unfortunately, it's something that we have to deal with because our kids consume content creation, and it has a very deep reach.
Well, there's something came across the chat, and I don't know what I should do with this.
Oh, I love it.
I'm distracted.
Yeah, that one might have to get deleted. I mean, that looks like it needs to be deleted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for coming by, but
I
here.
Mod that.
Nah.
I have a mod. Mike, where are you? You're my
asleep
mod.
at the wheel.
I can't. Anyway, let's continue on, and we'll sort that out in a minute.
Okay.
Things. Okay. So the things that we like in the esports industry. You talk amongst yourselves. I'm just getting you started. Go be free.
We were talking about what Sam was saying about, like, making influencers and content creators like the gods in the space. And I agree. Like, I feel like that's very like the way that YouTube and so many other, with Instagram and everything, it's all about the influencers. So I would hope that it doesn't end up like that. But I do think it is kind of like that. Like, everyone gets their codes and that's what's, trending on Twitch. So that's what everyone's playing.
I mean, you see it with edu celebrities. Like, it's there. It's something that we definitely have to walk around because it's something that, educators fall victim to. It's something that, anybody who watches content creation does. I think we have to be very aware of it and teach around it and remind people that no one's infallible. And these people that are held up as deities are human beings. They make mistakes. They make questionable decisions. If they look perfect, it's usually because there's a whole team around them that make them look like that. And look at that. Where's the marketing team? Who's making them be this entity? Because you don't become ninja without a pile of people around you helping you become that and helping you stay there. Like, it's more than.
He hasn't done that in like 2 years. That's like 10 years of work too. That's
what I'm saying. Like, it's not a small thing, but a lot of times kids don't see that. Even adults don't see that. That's not the part. They see the glitzy production value and the deals that people get. They don't see everything else that goes behind the scenes. I think that's our job to make sure that people understand everything else that goes along with that level of success.
I just wanted on record that the rumor around here is that Ninja's parents live in Caledonia, which is the town just north of me. So another reason to come to Wisconsin. Other than it's 60 degrees and we're not on fire.
I'm gonna
and
get
we have electricity
tomorrow.
Not on fire.
And gas just went below $2 a gallon around me.
What? Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
below
$1.98.
3 would be nice, like, and unheard of.
What did Sam do? Yeah. Oh. Sam put in a phrase that I banned in the chat. And that phrase is Packers, because I was a Bears fan and and it was going to be unallowed to have any Packers talk.
Oh my gosh, you took off the all caps thing?
I did take off the all caps thing. See,
Finally,
yes. Yes. The all caps thing is off and nobody can say Packers on this server.
We're all gonna get banned. It's all gonna happen today.
Sam's like, thank goodness I was gonna get timed out again. Of course you are. All right, so we're having fun.
Yeah.
Have we started?
No. Things we love about esports. I think right now one of the things that I really love is the fact that we're going through probably one of the most horrific years many of us have experienced. And our community is still holding together. Like, by and large, everyone's still being really supportive. People are reaching out to one another. We're still having conversations. Like, there's still a desire to be there for one another and keep things moving in a positive direction. So for me, I think that's really positive, because not all communities have done well during 2020, and I think ours has done pretty good.
That's true. Good point.
Ours is doing pretty good in what way? Are we we're talking about esports as a whole, or are we talking Scholastic?
Scholastic.
Okay.
Esports as a whole, I mean, by and large, it's still doing better than some, but I would say it's average. Like, I don't think esports in general has had a better year or a worse year community wise. Like, it's pretty stable in its ick moments and its that's really cool moments. Like, its fluctuation isn't as huge. I feel like esports has been able to pivot better during COVID than a lot of other industries. Switching to online events has been sort of an easier jump than traditional sports that have had to rearrange a pile of bodies in a much more impactful way. But yeah, more specifically, the education community. You look at other professional industries, and some of them are completely gutted. And
oh God,
yeah, like I feel like we've done a pretty good job of holding our own, and even when people are being negatively impacted, people are kind of sweeping in to help. Like, I feel like we're coming out of this, we're holding together well, which I think says something, because it's been one thing after the other.
I think that not only is the Scholastic community holding well, but I think we're coming together a lot faster. I think over the years, especially, I know in the state level associations for the high schools, the nonprofits, we shall say, there's a lot of coordination that's taking place behind the scenes right now. The network has been developed. We usually know who is who and who's the players at the state level. Yeah. So there's a lot of, I think, a lot of good communication that's going on between the groups right now. Is it just me who's moving herky jerky, or is it everybody?
I think it's
just you.
Okay. That's good. I can live with that.
I haven't tried to, I'm moving great. I'm fine.
All right.
I can do jellyfish arms. It's all good here.
All right.
You're coming from the fact that you're seeing more women getting involved in leadership in gaming. In the past, you really saw this. Yeah, that's nice. I think gaming in general is trying to move forward with representation of a diverse group of people. Like I don't think it's just like the esports EDU. I think it's pretty much all the way around. You're starting to see a really active push, which I don't know if it'll stick. I hope it will.
I mean, I've noticed on my end, like, so we've started a new school year. So a lot of, the freshmen at my school, I don't know, I've literally never met. And a lot of the students I've never met who haven't had me as a teacher before. And I've noticed already that I've had more girls reaching out to me to come play in our club than before. Like I have like a core, like maybe 4 or 5 girls that come to our club all the time, which is very low. I wish there was more. And I thought that by me running it, it would like invite or become more of an inviting space for females. But I feel like just in the last couple of weeks, I've had way more girls reach out to me. Hello, Navi. Navi was to also support this point.
Well, Carrie's dog was running around in the background, so
Yeah.
It's 5, so they're trying to tell me that it's dinner time, and I'm ignoring them.
Yeah, this is exactly what's happening here too. But yeah, that's something that I feel like is changing. Like girls have always been nervous to come to our club, and I'm like, why? Like, I mean, I understand why.
You're so intimidating.
And it's weird though, because I feel like as a woman in the gaming field, like when you're sitting in a classroom and you're talking to a group of kids, I feel like we're almost taken as the exception. Because like some of the conversations that'll pop around, I'm like, you do realize I'm female, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have acknowledged this, right? Like, why are we having these conversations when clearly there's representation of females in the gaming industry that are adult? Like, we had to come from somewhere. We don't miraculously pop into existence at like age 25. Like,
haven't you seen the series The Boys yet on Amazon?
No,
they shoot you up with Compound V and they let you loose in the wild.
And do we just well, okay, then maybe we don't have memory of that before. So yeah, apparently gamer girls, we exist only at a certain age. Then we're released into the environment.
You're made like they made Kelly LeBlanc in Weird Science.
Oh my gosh.
And again, Angelique's like, what the hell are you talking about? At least Jarrell laughed.
That's a throwback, man.
You've not seen Weird Science?
That's a throwback.
I feel like I've heard of that before, but
I
was reading a comment from Buffalo. Sorry, I was looking at the chat, and he said it's interesting how the inclusion of some anonymity or physical separation brings more women into the gaming space. I totally agree. Like the girls are way more comfortable coming into Discord and getting on our channel than they are walking into the room.
Where was that?
Way up there?
I don't know.
So that's an interesting thing, because you do see, I know every time that I've gone in and subbed and had the conversation about gaming, the boys run it. Like, it takes a lot of active moderation to let the girls have a voice. And I definitely could see how being remote would allow them some more safety to be in the space. Which is unfortunate, but hopefully we can get enough of them in the space that when everybody comes back on campus, they're there and it's okay.
Yeah.
Bradford takes a little, and Bradford, you could have just hopped in tonight too. I mean, my God, man.
Well, I know everybody was like, we were just going to hop in.
I'm just going to hang out and chat and learn. So he says, takes a little different direction. Conversations on Scholastic Esports are at least happening, and people are opening up and at least are starting to ask questions on what it is and what it isn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been very happy to see that. In fact, even today, somebody said, the question isn't anymore when I say esports, it's not what is that? Mm-hmm. It is tell me about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's become.
And
so,
some other thing I've noticed kind of shifting, and this was also mentioned in chat, that women are more open-minded when it comes to trying new games. I think like that has shifted with the pandemic too. Like everyone is just open to trying new games, and therefore more people can come in at like a level ground. Like my students and I were meeting tomorrow. We're going to play Among Us. which is like so silly and so fun. And like, like I think that the pandemic has brought that into Scholastic Esports too. Like everyone's just hanging out and playing together. So it's like a more casual field right now. And we're not all focused on being the best and being competitive and all of that. And it's just making it a more welcoming, inclusive place, in my opinion, at least from what I'm seeing on the high school side of it.
No, I think that's great.
I have a little sister who, grew up during the Minecraft era. She's in high school now. So she was a Minecrafter, but then when she got into middle school, Minecraft wasn't cool, not my thing. She's not a gamer. She doesn't consider herself a gamer. But then recently, because of the fact that she's isolated, she started using Minecraft again with her friends, started playing with Minecraft, and now she's like, oh, I'm a gamer again, so I feel like it's this particular situation, like you said, it's getting them to kind of engage in those spaces again, and it's opening that up, so which is great. I love it.
I mentioned Minecraft today in my class, and all the girls in my class went wild. They're like, Miss Giannis, can I, because I'm going to play Minecraft tonight. I'm going to learn tonight after we're off stream. And they were like, can I play with you? Like, can we all play? Can I join your whatever host world? I don't know what it's called. I'll know tomorrow. But they all wanted to play. I was like, yeah, of course. And I'm like, what an awesome, and this kind of is bouncing on another point. Like, what an awesome way to connect with these kids that I've never met before.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I think Minecraft's great for that. And it's been really interesting because it's come up, I think, in a couple of our chats is how we're seeing Minecraft make this resurgence. I mean, that's what I've been streaming with my dad. And it is a great way to just hang out with people. Like I've got friends that are in my realm, and we'll pop back and forth on Twitter. It'll be like, oh, well, I worked on this. We're not in at the same time, but we're engaging with each other publicly throughout the day about who's been doing what in the realm at different times. And it's nice to have a cooperative project, like, because we're so isolated right now. So,
well, and Minecraft is 10 years old now. I mean, is the community. It's a very, I mean, the culture has been set. The Minecraft culture has largely been set. Sam writes in here, this kind of goes a little bit what we've been talking about too, about how clubs need to be mindful about how newcomers are able to join in the space without feeling like another. I know what we're doing right now, because our season isn't officially starting until November, is we're just setting up just simple game tournaments, just giving kids an opportunity to play. Yeah. And we're not making them perfect. And we're literally just doing it on scratch paper, and we're not using a Battlefy or anything like that. It is, here's some kids who like to play these games. We're doing Madden, FIFA, and NBA 2K, because we found that surprisingly those games are actually pretty diverse in both boys and girls.
Yeah.
We're also taking on I'm promoting the Minecraft Rube Goldberg contest that NASEF is putting on.
Yeah.
So we're giving them all these opportunities for kids to find out to be part of this community, and then we'll talk about esports later. We'll get that going at a later date. Yeah. That process.
I think that might be part of what's helping kids settle in as well, is like, if you just come into a regular season, I feel like gaming's one of those weird things where you have to sort of have street cred. And I know as a woman, you definitely, like, you'll get grilled as soon as you say you game. Well, did you play this game? Did you play that game? Did you play this game? Well, what did you do in this game? And it's like, oh my gosh, like, if you want to break down every game I played, great, we can go there and do that. But I shouldn't.
I've never been asked that.
No, I think as a chick, I've been asked it so many times. Yeah. And so I feel like for girls coming into the space, if you're coming into the space and the club is just playing, and it's just, we're going to play games, we're going to have fun, it allows everybody to get to know you without having that knee-jerk reaction to vet you, which is a really common experience that our gender deals with. So I'm kind of curious to see if that sort of delayed start ends up, impacting the comfortableness of people that are new into the community kind of settling in easier. Because maybe they won't see as much of that.
Well, and I think like Kevin mentioned the newcomers guide, and something I'm building right now with my students. I have my kids who have been with me for years now, and they are, the leaders of my club, mainly male, but not all male. And we're getting ready to invite new people into our Discord and invite new people into the club in the next coming weeks. And I was kind of panicking about it because I don't know these kids, like literally never met them. They know nothing about me because they're new to the school. And so I'm like, you know what? Like, you guys are now going to be, you know, the newcomers. You're going to be in charge of the newcomers. Welcome them in, tell them the rules, make sure they understand. If you see them like wanting to play a game, ask them to join the voice chat, like engage with them in the chat, make sure they feel welcome, because imagine being a freshman, a new high schooler to a new school that maybe you've never met anybody before, and you're just trying to like meet some people in a virtual environment. Like, I'm like, you guys have to think about it. And so I think that's so important, like making sure your kids know how to welcome.
Yeah. And I think it's like, for anybody who started gaming young, you go through that phase where you're the squeaker and you catch a lot of flack from older players. And like, I remember with my son, because he started gaming really early, of how excited he was when he managed to get into a game with somebody who treated him like a human being.
Yeah.
Like, who didn't hear that little kid voice and just treat him like a kid or talk down to him. But somebody was like, hey, okay, well, let's do this and let's do this. And they had this really cooperative game session. And by the time he was done, like, he was so excited. Like, here was this person who took me seriously and just treated me like another gamer. Most kids I know have had that experience. And also know what the alternative is. So sometimes being able to stop and be like, okay, remember when that happened to you? You need to be that person.
Yeah.
Like, that is your job, to welcome those newcomers in and make them feel like they belong, because it feels good. And a lot of what you experience isn't that. So being able to be that positivity is a powerful thing.
Well, and again, too, helping kids to see themselves in their leadership, in the teachers and the educators who are there. That also helps too. So I know we've done a really good job of developing that, but it's, not everybody can get, like in my district, I've got 12 general managers for 5 schools. I know that we are set up better than anybody else, and we have diversity on our staff, but for some people it's 1.
Yeah.
And they're not paid. And that's, but if you can get 2, again, we want to make sure that the kids see themselves
absolutely.
in us in some way.
And we're not there yet. Like,
No.
It's crazy when you see somebody tweet out about how excited they are that somebody else like them has been hired so that they're not the token anymore. It's like, that shouldn't be what we're dealing with. Like, we shouldn't have, things need to change.
Wait, I thought we were supposed to be talking about the good stuff.
We were. I don't know how we got deep. We went deep. It's Sam's fault. Sam took us down a rabbit hole of depth.
Well,
Of culture.
I mean, like, this is bouncing off of what I was just kind of talking about with my club. Like, the thing that I love the most about just involving esports in school is the kids and how much they value this opportunity and how excited they are, and how, like, I just the way like kids light up and how much they just value being a part of that community. Like, I've had so many kids since the pandemic hit, more specifically, I've had so many kids say, like, I'm so glad I have you guys here for me. I'm so glad that I have somewhere to come and ask questions, and I know that someone's going to respond and hear me out. And I think that's what I love so much, is it's not just about the games. It's not just about playing games with your students. Like, for me, it builds that relationship, and I get to know all these really awesome kids that I never would have known in that way prior to this, if I was just teaching them English. But like, it just builds a support system for kids in high school who probably or may not have had that not been available. And I think that's what I love, hands down, is just the community.
Preach.
Yeah. Gaming can create amazing support communities.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, right? Like, we talk about the games, we talk about all the technology and all of that, the curriculum, but at the end of the day, it's just building community and building culture within the school. So,
and that to me is just as important as anything else with our kids. This is the thing that I talk about in college, the thing that kept me in college was the marching band. That was my community that I stepped into. And yeah,
What did you play?
Well, I started as a tuba player.
Hey, I played tuba. I played sousaphone. And
Look at us. Whoa.
Let's go.
All right.
So karaoke and music
And tuba solos. We're gonna do some German oompa band music.
I'm down.
But also, we know how important this is for kids. Again, the kids have been wanting this and looking for this. And Angelique, what you're talking about, just the support, you touched on some things about it, and it just brings back some memories of things I've seen with our own kids. Like, we had one kid who had his 16th birthday party at Not Your Parents' Basement, probably last summer. He had never had a birthday party before. And it wasn't just the kids from the high school who got together to have a gaming sesh with him. It was all 5 high schools came together to have had representation to have a gaming sesh.
I mean, it's keep going.
No, it's I can't talk about it.
You get all emotional.
I can see the tear.
Yeah,
it's huge.
No,
you look at the communities that you build. Like, so my son didn't come from our unified school district. He came from outside of it. So coming into a school where like one other student was transferring from the school he came from, part of what's carried him through this beginning is the fact that he is so well connected to both the basketball community and the local gaming community. You make these connections, like, so he's in online classes with kids that he's plugged into, through a lot of the day, through the games that they play. And that's huge, for him being able to transition to a place where he doesn't, hasn't gone to school, doesn't have that, 10 years or 9 years of background history with people. Having that gaming connection makes all the difference in the world. And there's so many of us that weren't team sports people. Like, I was a saber fencer, and we didn't have a saber fencing team.
No,
for me, it was.
Oh my God, nerd!
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But like, for me at school, it was theater. Like, if I didn't have the theater department, I wouldn't have made it as far through high school as I did. Oh yeah, well yeah, I'm a nerd.
You're not being a good role model right now to thing.
He's allowed.
I did theater too. So I did band and theater and football and track.
You did everything.
I did all the things. Cool. And mock trial. Oh, I was really good on mock trial. I enjoyed that.
I was part of the French club, but only so that I could go to France.
That's fair. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I did not ever go to a French club meeting.
But and I was not a part of anything in high school. Like, I did not do anything. I was working in high school, so I went to high school and I left. And I played games at home by myself and with my friends, like on my N64 or on my really terrible PC that I had at home. But I didn't really have friends that played games. And I think back to that, I felt so disconnected from high school. I hated it. Yeah. I didn't enjoy it at all. I don't know how I ended up teaching high school. I think because I want people to have that opposite.
Yeah, different experience.
And I think about what if, in high school I could have found that community of people who would have wanted to play Mario Kart on the N64 with me, or a teacher that would have wanted to, let me in their classroom and play N64 and just hang out. That would have changed my whole high school experience. So I think that's, again, that's what I love is we have the power to shift one kid or many kids' entire high school experience and themselves in the process.
And we've got a few other things that have popped up in chat. So if I miss any of them, please. But first off, Chris, he knows the feels from playing tenor sax back in the day. But let's see, we've got one thing I'd like to share on the subject of building community because that is the biggest thing for our youth. Recently, after we reopened our public library to the public, some of our regular students came to visit that first day to talk about how much they missed our events and spending time with one another. Absolutely, 100%. It's particularly special to me because one of the students had in the past not been the most social or accepting of the wide variety of games that we featured.
Yeah.
Sam writes how the summer hangouts in Discord had ended, and it's hard not to feel bad when things are slow because they're always excited and grateful. I guess talking about the students, we're excited and grateful. And I know we've seen a lot of that here as well too as we start to get things going. Jarrell, did you have your thing already, or did you kind of mix in with everybody else?
No, I didn't have my thing. I guess I can go. This is my formal time. I think
this is your formal time.
Formal time to reply.
You have the floor. I am reclaiming my time. Go ahead.
I think the biggest thing is really just that attitude towards innovation, right? I think somewhere someone had said in the chat about, I think Sam said it, about the fact that it's validating, this whole pandemic has validated the fact that all of these outside of the box thinkers, that are utilizing technology in their classroom are suddenly, recognized during this moment. And I feel like that's what this whole Scholastic Esports is about, is all the educators that are involved are really just pushing themselves beyond their comfort zones, to meet the kids where they are, to meet their interest. And I think for me, that energy of, stepping outside of your comfort zone, trying new things, that's super exciting. And that's where I think most educators should be. And that's what we should always do, is constantly discover, new ways to engage our students. But that this particular community seems to be doing that tenfold.
Yeah. I mentioned to my students today that I was trying to get Minecraft on our Chromebooks because, it just came out.
We just got the approval today.
I have it on Monday. So, but I was like, it would be super cool if we could build the school. And I was just passively mentioning it as they were working. And I was like, I don't know, we could build the school together, or we're reading this book right now, Long Way Down, Jason Reynolds, great book, 10 out of 10. But in the book, he goes down each floor of an elevator, and when it opens, a new person from his past comes in. And I'm like, what if we split into groups and everybody made an elevator floor, and then and they just went wild. They're like, when are we gonna do that? I'm like, hold on, I don't know, but that my kids don't turn on their camera and they barely talk to me during distance learning, and I start mentioning that and they blow up. I'm like, it's just so totally.
The thing that I love the most about this community, well, and Sam kind of stole it. It's hard to say one thing about this community. I mean, this is us. It's not just, and when I say us, I don't mean the four of us here, obviously. People in chat, the people I meet at conferences, the teachers who are interested about this, but most of all, the kids. Whenever I'm thinking about this, the secret for me to think how do I design this experience is, will my kids like it? If my kids will like it, then I've succeeded.
Yeah.
That's whenever I'm thinking about how I design something, whether it was I was teaching a class or whether I was doing an esports thing or giving a speech or whatever it is, it's always, will my kids enjoy this? My personal kids. And all through all of this, it has always been about how many amazing connections I've made with my kids through you all. That's the thing I love about this. That's why I kill myself for this thing. It's why people are like, what are you doing? What job? I'm like, yeah, I'm just doing all this stuff, but it's because I see the whole thing and I see how good it can be. And I just love it. And again, if I'm designing it for my kids and I'm thinking of that being the goal, building the thing that they love, then I love doing this. I love absolutely doing this. So
yeah.
And Sam, of course, she appreciates good eyeshadow.
Yes, we're talking about my makeup. But I'm listening to you, and I agree with you, and I hear
it's so
you.
Cool. I'm not calling you out. But
I mean, whenever anybody asks me, why do you do this? You work on this constantly. I am working, whether it's our Discord server and trying to figure that out, or just trying to have meetings at school to have things work, or organize Fortnite Fridays or tournaments. Like I spend so many hours doing it, but like it's because I love it, and the kids get so excited. So it's like exactly what you were saying. Like it's just, it hypes me up to see how hyped the kids get. And when I come up with these fun ideas like the Minecraft thing, I get hyped and I'm like, let's do it. Like it's.
But that's what's great about the community is you're surrounded by a bunch of people that are passionate about what they do, and everybody's niche is different than everybody else's, but you're all super passionate about it. So, like if somebody's working on this project, it's like, I'm going to go ping that person because that's their wheelhouse. And it's great because then you end up having, ridiculously long conversations with people about things that, they love. And that's huge.
And Tristan's been on point in the chat tonight, so we'll just pop up another one of his. Tristan Wheeler, if you don't know who he is, by the way, do check him out. Librarian in the Cleveland Public Library System. That's really, and he's been ducking me. I've been trying to get him on the podcast, so Tristan's calling him out. That's really true, honestly. Let me say that I've been in the more hardcore gaming circles over the years, and now more so the esports EDU circles. And man, it is so much better over here. Yeah. Glad that we could.
That's nice.
That really feels good. That does feel good. And he says he's ready for the podcast. So
no, I'm ready. He yelled, "No, I'm ready, bro." I love that
he can because I turned off the cap
It's nice that we
lock.
can. I know it's great that we can yell.
Oh, God.
We're gonna have a cap locks only day.
It was stressing me out, honestly.
I got yelled at the first time I popped into his stream. It was like I said yay because he did something good, and like the chat's like no. I'm like, oh my God.
And then it blew me up. And he's like, "What are you saying in my chat?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'll just leave." It
was awesome. But wait, I do have to show you all. I have to show all of you, not you all. The Texas people aren't here tonight. They're in chat somewhere. Let's see if I can do this here. I have something to unveil in the chat. Just wait for it.
Yes, our Ursosa says, is it Minecraft on Chromebooks? Yeah, it is available, but I mean, on most school districts, it's blocked. So,
all right, here in the chat. So I have my own emoticon now.
Hey.
That's impressive.
And that was before I got a beard trim, so it's like extra fluffy.
Yeah, I was going to say your beard is out of control there. Wait, what did the guy in chat say? I probably can't repeat that.
No. That was not. No. No.
JK.
Yeah, so this has been the thing that connects me to my kids, and that's why I love the work so much. I really do. So, Jarrell, Carrie, Angelique, it's been fun tonight. It is 7:31. I mean, we could probably go on forever and talk about all the great things, but we do this for an hour and we save it all for next time. And then we come back and we do it again. And and seriously, Thursday afternoon. What are we talking about tonight? I don't know.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I have a whole list of potential topics, but
I just, before we leave, I really want to know. I tweeted this earlier. I want to know how much Ninja got paid to come back to Twitch.
I have not seen anything because usually there's a few guys that will dig and then publicly disclose that stuff. I have not heard a peep about that yet. We'll maybe give it 24, 48 hours.
I want to know.
Hey, you know what? He had nowhere else to go. They probably gave him $1.
They're like, it will let you come back.
Yeah, exactly. All right, everybody, that's it. Thank you very much for hanging out. We will be back again next Thursday night. Who will be here? Who knows? Could be me and Carrie and Angelique and Jarrell, or it could be none of us.
It's always a surprise.
It is a surprise. It is a surprise. All right. Thanks for checking us out. Take care, everybody. Good night.